And once the mission was done, everything was blown up. They, of course, needed to get home in a hurry. And basically, the way they had done it was it went in and they were testing lithium-ion batteries, were pretty new at that time. But the range wasn't there. So to get back home, they didn't have a gasoline, or actually it was a diesel engine, turning a generator, having enough range to get back home. And when I saw that vehicle with 400 horsepower, I thought, this is pretty amazing. I said, why haven't you, and actually they said, usually we get sort of an average of, 80 to 100 miles per gallon, because you got that electric range first. And I said, well, why haven't you sold that to Ford, GM, or Chrysler? And they said, well, we went to show this technology, but they weren't interested because the gasoline is cheap. It was back in 2006, and they said it's too expensive and it doesn't fit in any of our cars. So I said, well, what about if we design a car from the ground up and actually, make it a consumer product? I think that's going to be amazing. I said, the only thing you have right now, if you want to buy green cars and show it a Prius, isn't that exciting? So I said, I think I can design a more exciting car than Toyota. So they said, well, we don't really know about designing cars and all that, but we have the technology. And I said, well, is it available since it's military? And they said, yes, because it's not a weapon, and they would actually like to get it out on the market. So what we did was we drafted a business plan, formed a company, Fisker Automotive, and we got sort of a banker, I call it that, but a guy that went out and helped us raise money. And he kind of laid a map out where we were going to travel around the world, and we actually started by going up to San Francisco, and that's kind of where we ended, because it turned out, of course, there's a lot of venture firms up there, and I didn't know anything about raising venture capital, but we ended up getting, actually first we got $5 million from, we got $3 million from a venture firm up there called Palo Alto Investors, and then we got $2 million from a private Italian investor. And that kind of kicked off the program. But you have to imagine you walk into a door, or in a door with a venture firm, with an idea that demands to raise hundreds of millions of dollars, and spending hundreds of millions of dollars. So the two questions I got was, well, we found that Google with 25 million is worth 80 billion. Why do you need hundreds of millions of dollars? So that's a very difficult thing to explain to people. And I said, well, I need more than 8 guys eating pizza in a room making a software. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done, I said. So we need a lot more money, we need tooling, we need factories and all that. The other question I got was, well, what about all the failed car companies such as DeLorean? I'm sure everybody remembers DeLorean. And we said, that's a good point. So that first investor from Palo Alto Investors says, actually, I happen to know the CFO of John DeLorean. He lives up here, he's retired. He said, why don't you go and visit him? When you talk to him, you come back. So me and my business partner, we went to visit him in the yacht club, and we kind of felt like two schoolboys sitting on the lap of, the old sort of grandfather telling us the story. And it was an amazing story, and I couldn't retell you a lot of it because, like I said, it was amazing. I'm sure you know a little bit of the story, what went on there with cocaine and a whole bunch of other stuff. But a couple of the things that was interesting, that was a learning experience, was that he said the big mistake DeLorean made was he wanted so badly to build the factory that with the money he raised, he spent all the money on the factory and he had no money to create the product. So basically that's why he ran out, and that's why the whole thing failed, because he spent all this money, and you probably know this factory in Ireland. He did get some government support, etc., but at the end of the day, he had no money for the product. So we decided to change the business plan completely, come with a new business plan for the car industry, which really meant that the first car, first of all, we were going to outsource manufacturing, and second, we were going to keep an incredible lean company, meaning we were going to start out by outsourcing as much as we could, only concentrate on the core components such as the powertrain, what we call the vehicle integration, the design, the brand, the marketing, etc. But we weren't going to engineer door handles, we weren't going to engineer seating frames, we were going to go to suppliers and ask them for that. So that's how we set it up. And we went back to Palo Alto Investors, they put $3 million in, as I said. And then we got going, we kind of created the first prototype. And obviously once that was done, we needed more money. So we went back up to San Francisco, and in that case I met Ray Lane, which today is our chairman. He's also chairman at Hewlett Packard. and with Kleiner Perkins, and he said, "Well, you know, let me. What's your next step?" And I said, "Well, this was in December of 2007." And I said, "Well, we have created this, you know, model we're going to show in Detroit to kind of gather excitement and get some investment." And he said, "Okay, we'll put in 15 million, but I want to sign the term sheet before you show the model." So there's a bit of a risk. Either we show the model, maybe get a higher valuation, or we take the 15 million down for a slightly lower valuation. And of course, anybody who has raised money, you start out with owning a lot of your company, and every time you raise money, you own less and less and less. But, you know, on the other hand, having to raise that much money, that was like my first experience where when the money is available, you better take it.